I'm with Keiser University Sports Medicine and Fitness Technology program, and today I'm going to be talking to you about baseball. Right, so with baseball, we have a lot of injuries. So today what I'm going to be talking to you about is the safety equipment that has been used in baseball. I'm going to go all the way back from like the beginning of baseball all the way till modern times, which is now. Some of the ways you can prevent these injuries is by training more efficiently. So using how to utilize the muscle better in the way where you won't injure yourself. For instance, a rotator cuff injury is at the very top of your shoulder, the muscle when it gets injured. Usually happens in pitchers and batters. They swing too hard and they pull muscles and ligaments where there is no recovery unless it's surgically repaired. Now, for the ACL, MCL, PCL, and LCLs, that is in your knee. What you can prevent is doing more knee stabilizing exercises, learning how to slide into the bases more efficiently and productively to the point where you can slide in faster without hurting your muscles. And for the shoulder dislocations, that's also for pitchers. When they pitch, they tend to go and hyperextend their arm, and that can be a downfall in their play and in their pitch. It also leads to more pain in the future and also more problems leading to their next games and possibly their career. So when you think of baseball, you think of it as America's pastime. Well, nobody really thinks about what we've come from in baseball. Baseball started in the 19th century in the late 1800s. Back then, baseball was completely different in their rules and regulations and the safety equipment that they used. Today's equipment outblows the stuff we used back then. When you think of safety equipment, you think bats, gloves, helmets. Well, there's a lot more to that than just bats, gloves, and helmets. There is the catcher's equipment, which is a vest that covers about from their neck all the way down towards their knee. Then there's a shin pad that goes from the tip of their foot all the way up to meet the vest. And then there's also the face mask that they use, which is a giant like plate. It kind of looks like a hockey mask nowadays. It gives you a wide eye opening so you can see what's happening in the game, but it won't allow the bat to hit you in the eye or the ball to go into the mask. The bat in 19th century was thicker, heavier, and much harder to swing. It was weighing at just about 42 ounces, and now we have it between 36 and 40 ounces. And 40 ounces is depending on the player. Now, back then, it was really 42 ounces, but it depends on how much the player actually wanted their bat to weigh. They can have a 58-ounce bat if they wanted, or they can have a 32-ounce bat if they wanted. But it all depends on how their swing was. Gloves have evolved just as well as they have gone from being short and thick in the 19th and 20th century to being long and more efficient for outfielders to catch fly balls and small and easy to maneuver for infielders. Now, back then, the gloves weren't really used. They were more of, if you need it, you need it. But now it's more efficient and better for the catchers to actually grab the ball. It's easier for the infield and outfield to actually help pass along during the game. Back then, the first player who used it didn't necessarily need it as a catching glove. He broke 2 of his fingers and he was trying to protect his hand from getting more damage in the game. So what he did is he wrapped his fingers up and put on a glove, and that was the beginning of the glove use. Nowadays, our helmets are thick, round, plastic, and really sturdy. Back then, in the 1940s, the helmets really weren't useful. They didn't really need them, and there was no helmets for the actual game of baseball until 1941 when the Dodgers first introduced it to the game. The reason for the introduction to the game was Ray Chapman was killed by a fast ball that was headed towards him and knocked him out and killed him. Now, that is serious. Can you imagine a ball going at least 50 miles per hour straight to your head and you have nothing to protect yourself? So we're also going to be talking about the catcher's equipment. The catcher has a giant torso vest. They also have a glove, shin pads, and a face mask. The reason for this is, you would think about it, the catcher is directly behind the batter. Now, if the batter swings back too hard, he can knock the catcher unconscious just with the tip of the bat. Like, that is something very heavy. Now, if the batter is hitting a ball and he throws the bat and the bat hits the catcher in the head, the game is over because the catcher, he's pretty much dead, if you think about it. If the pitcher has thrown a ball too hard and the catcher goes to grab it, but it hits him in his stomach or in his knee, it could potentially break a bone. Now, the reason why this has happened where we create more vests is because players have been killed because of fastballs, fly balls, everything hitting them. Now, we don't think about it now. We just see, oh, you hit it, move on, put some dust on it, you'll be okay. Well, we have to prevent the injuries that occur. There are a lot of injuries which include shoulder tendonitis or bursitis, torn rotator cuffs, ACL, PCL, MCL, and LCL injuries, or meniscus injuries. The only way to prevent these injuries is to use the proper safety equipment. So keep using your helmets, your shoulder pads, your knee pads, your elbow pads, whatever you need to do to protect your body from getting hurt during the game. Now, the most important thing I would say is keep training those muscles. Make them work harder and better. Make it easier for you to play in the game and make sure you win. Well, I'm Destiny, and I'm with the Keiser University Sports Medicine Program. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day.